Hey everyone, Soberoni of G&A Reviews here with an update for Fate Grand Order, some Fate Grand Order news for y'all. And I'm sure I'm the last YouTuber to be putting this video out, but we are getting a Thanksgiving event. For those of you who've been living under a rock, they just announced a Thanksgiving event this Saturday over at Anime NYC. I was actually at the announcement panel and I was live tweeting like crazy about what was going on. So although it did take me a while to make this video, I think I can make up for it because there's a fair bit of information that we learned from the panel itself that I haven't really seen online that much yet. So you might learn a few things from the end of this video when I get into all of that. But first, let's just go over the basics of the event. We will be getting the Thanksgiving event. It'll last from November 22nd up until December 1st. But in addition to all the things that we're going to be getting during the event, we are also getting some quality of life adjustments. First, we're going to be getting a second archive expansion, which means we can buy more space for servants and craft essences. We will have the ability to save multiple support setups, so that's very handy when you're setting up for farming teams and support teams that you want your friends to use. Now you can have multiple support teams that people can use. We'll also be getting a multi-lock function for servants and craft essences, which is fairly handy. All that means is that instead of locking servants and craft essences one at a time, you'll be able to push a button and say, I want, all of these craft essences locked at once. So that's just a massive improvement to the quality of life there. But the most important update I think we're getting in terms of UI and all of that is we're getting a quest information display. So this is very handy in JP. Essentially what it means is anytime you complete a quest, you'll get a little eye icon, like a little information bubble that you can press on the quest, and it'll tell you what items you can get from that quest, what items drop from there, and what enemies you can find there. So if you beat a quest and you're curious about where you want to farm Phoenix Plumes at, you just have to press that little eye icon and it'll tell you which quests drop Phoenix Plumes, which quests have which enemies in them. And it's just, overall, it's just really, really handy to have around, especially when we get into events that have missions like kill 100 of this type of enemy or whatever. This will be very handy for that. Now, as for the event itself, we will be getting the Mona Lisa Craft Essence. So for those of you who are not familiar with JP and how the Mona Lisa Craft Essence works, it is a very important craft essence that you can buy from the Mana Prism shop. Each copy costs 1,000 Mana Prisms, and you're going to want to actually buy all 5 so that you can limit break it. So what does it do? It increases QP gained from quests by 2%. So that might not sound like a lot. And first, when it came out on JP, I didn't buy it because it didn't sound like a lot to me. But if you limit break it, it goes up to 10%. And that is a tremendous benefit when farming QP. It's huge. It's borderline essential if you want to be able to farm QP efficiently. So I do recommend that you get this craft essence, obviously. Think about it this way: if you max limit break this and you have a friend with a max limit broken Mona Lisa and you do a QP farming event, you're getting 20% extra QP every time you run that quest. It's huge. It really, really adds up. Now, you're not going to need to fork over 5,000 QP, before December 1st. I'm pretty sure that this craft essence lasts about a year in the shop. It's going to be there, and you can always bring it back by spending a rare Mana Prism. So you have plenty of time to save up all your Mana Prisms to afford this craft essence, and I do recommend doing so. I highly recommend doing so. Don't make my mistake. We'll also be getting some login bonuses, so you may have already seen that we got 10 quartz for logging in today. That is in commemoration of the Anime NYC panel. On top of that, on the 23rd, we'll be getting 8 attack foes, 8 HP foes, and 1 ticket. On the 24th, we'll get 12 quartz and a ticket, and on the 25th, we're getting 16 4-star experiences and 1 ticket. That's pretty substantial. All in all, you're looking at about 3 tickets and 22 quartz on top of the 16 4-star experiences and 8 attack and 8 HP foes. So that's almost enough for a multi-summon. That's actually pretty generous from Aniplex, so thank you very much. And before we get into the banner itself, I do want to mention the grab bags. I haven't seen this mentioned as much, but we're getting grab bags from the Mana Prism shop, as if you didn't have enough to spend your Mana Prisms on already. So what are these grab bags? Well, there's 2 grab bags. So assuming that they haven't changed these grab bags from the JP versions, one of them is going to contain some summoning tickets, some XP and foe cards, and of course some friend points. And then the second one is going to contain some Ascension items, so obviously Phoenix Plumes and all of that. I think it's 2 of every Ascension item. So those are obviously very handy, and I suggest buying both of these lucky grab bags when they're in the shop. But now let's move on to the biggest portion of the event, the gacha. So we're actually getting 2 gachas for this. We're going to be getting a Sakasaha banner, and we're also going to be getting a paid gacha. On top of the Shisho banner, actually, let's talk about that one first. It's going to be a rotating gacha. You're going to be able to roll Shisho, Gilgamesh, and Kintoki from November 22nd to December 1st. I'm not sure, they didn't really elaborate if it's always going to be Shisho on rate up, and then it's going to alternate between Gilgamesh and Kintoki, or if they're going to rotate between all 3. But just know that those 3 are going to be on rate up. Obviously, all 3 of them are very, very strong. 5 stars, all worth rolling for. And I will be coming out with a Shisho Servant Spotlight on Tuesday. So right before the event hits, I will be sure to be putting up that Shisho Spotlight so that you guys can decide if you want to roll for her, and if you do, what craft essences work best on her and all of that good stuff. On top of that, we're also getting the paid gacha from New Year's with some adjustments. So originally we thought we were going to be getting this gacha at New Year's, but nope, they moved it up to Thanksgiving. So what is the paid gacha? It's a one-time only, you can only roll it once. It's a one-time only multi-summon gacha that costs 30 paid quartz. That's important. So you can't use free quartz for this. So when you roll it, make sure you have 30 paid quartz. Well, it won't let you roll it if you don't. And it will guarantee you 1 of 9 5 stars. Those 5 stars are Arturia, Altera, Okita, Orion, Francis Drake, Zhuge Tamomo, Vlad, and Joan. So you will be guaranteed at least 1 of those 5 stars when you roll this gacha. There are reports that the 5-star rates are higher. It's not substantiated, but I just feel like putting it out there. There's plenty of people I've seen roll 2 or even 3 5 stars from this 10 roll. Not completely sure what the chances of rolling an extra 5-star are, but I've seen it happen pretty commonly. So take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, I'm not guaranteeing a second 5-star. I'm just saying I've seen it happen a few times. So if you don't have any 5 stars, obviously I recommend rolling this if you are willing to put the money down. If not, well, there will be other paid gachas, trust me. But this is a pretty great deal for the money. I'm sure anyone will tell you. And look at it this way, even if you're EX rank luck or you're a whale and you have 8 out of 9 of these servants, that just means you still have a 1 of 9 chance of rolling the servant you don't have, which is astronomically higher than any chance you would have had rolling any other gacha for that servant, even if they were the only one on rate up. So that's a good way of looking at it, and if you are rolling this, I wish you luck. I will be rolling this live on stream on Saturday, so you guys can look forward to that if you catch it Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. And finally, I just want to use this last portion of this video to talk about some stuff that happened at the panel that I haven't really been seeing much of online, whether that's because it's just being overshadowed by all this other stuff that's going on right now and it will surface up later, or whatever the case may be, but I just want to touch on it because I feel it's very important. So there were obviously a number of questions asked at the Fate Grand Order panel, and props to Aniplex and the localization director that was there. They were very, very, very upfront and talkative. They were willing to answer a lot of these questions, and I think they let on a lot more than they were planning to. For example, they indirectly confirmed a Fate CCC event. So I know a few people were wondering, are we getting the Fate CCC event? For those of you who don't know, there was a Fate CCC event in JP, but the game itself, which is a sequel to Fate Extra, was never released outside of Japan. So people were wondering for the longest time if we're even going to get that event, because there's no context for it. And it's an event that relies heavily on knowledge of that game. It includes characters from that game that are nowhere else in the Type Moon universe. So they kind of indirectly addressed that by saying they don't plan to localize the game because the PSP is dead, but they do want to give context to the event. That's all they said. They want to give context to the event when it happens, which in my book, I'm going to chalk up to them indirectly confirming that there's a Fate CCC event. So the fact that they're talking about giving context to an event means that it's in the works. It's, you know, maybe it won't hit for another year or two here in NA, but at least it's something that's on the table, it's on the drawing board, they're not ignoring it. So it's, in all likelihood, we are getting a Fate CCC event, which I'm more than happy with. It's a great event, and if you plan on rolling Melt or Passion Lip or any of the other CCC servants, then save up. Now, along those lines, they also mentioned that they are planning to eventually catch up with JP, and that's why we're getting these events back to back to back. They didn't confirm when we're catching up with JP. For all I know, it could be 4 years from now, especially considering how far ahead JP is, but they are in the works of trying to catch up to JP. So that's an interesting tidbit of information because, again, it gives context to why we're getting a million events back to back to back to back. I mean, when was the last time we had a break period from an event? So what that tells me is that we're going to be getting a lot of events next year. There probably won't be any downtime, or at least not much downtime. We're probably just going to get events stacked on top of events, stacked on top of events, stacked on top of event, like we've been doing with Halloween and Guda Guda and Okia. Like, we've just been getting events like crazy. So to me, that tells me we're getting a lot of content. I'm here for it. I'm glad we're getting a ton of content for this game, and it means I have a lot to cover next year, so look forward to that. And another, and I guess the last thing I want to cover is, since it's brought up very frequently, even on my own comment section in the Spotlight videos, they did touch on the animation updates. So they were asked about when we're getting these animation updates for servants like Ku and Herc and, you know, Carmilla and all of that. And they mentioned that they will not be following JP's schedule for that, which is fantastic because that means we don't have to wait 2 years to get Ku and Herc updates. So he didn't give a specific date about when they're releasing these animation updates. Obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into that, not only just coding, but from a legal permission standpoint and getting approval from JP and whatnot and all of that. So they did say that they aren't beholden to JP's schedule, and they will likely release the animation updates sooner than they were released in JP. So that's great. We don't have to wait 2 years for those. Maybe we'll just get a patch that includes all the animation updates, or maybe they'll sprinkle a few animation updates here and there for us. Either way, I'm just glad we don't have to wait for as long as we waited in JP for these updates. And that about covers everything I have to say in this video regarding this event. And this is where I'm going to open it up to you guys. Please feel free to ask questions. I do want to get to every single question that you guys ask and answer it to the best of my ability. So if you have any questions about the panel or the event or anything like that, please let me know in the comments and I'll address it as soon as I can. Also, look forward to that Shisho Spotlight going up on Tuesday, right before the event hits. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want some more FGO content. And also, please do follow us on Twitter. For everyone who was following us on Twitter, sorry for spamming all you guys with tweets from the panel, but I'm sure you guys enjoyed seeing 1,000,001 things happening at once and Twitter blowing up. So, until next time, guys, this is Soberoni signing out. Later.